Rational numbers. Why do decimals repeat? Have you ever wondered why some decimal numbers seem to go on forever, repeating the same digits? This is a fascinating aspect of rational numbers. Let's break it down in a simple way. Rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed as a fraction, where both the top number, called the numerator, and the bottom number, called the denominator, are whole numbers. For example, 1/2 can be written as 1/2. When we convert these fractions into decimal form, we can end up with two different types of decimals: terminating decimals and repeating decimals. Terminating decimals are those that come to an end. For instance, 1/2 equals 0.5. On the other hand, repeating decimals continue infinitely with a pattern. A classic example is 1/3, which equals 0.3 repeating. So, why do some decimals repeat? The answer lies in the division process. When you divide the numerator by the denominator, you may find that you run into the same remainders over and over again. Since there are only a limited number of possible remainders when dividing by a whole number, eventually, you will repeat a remainder. This leads to a cycle in the decimal representation. Let's take a closer look at this. When you divide 1 by 3, you start with 0.3. The remainder after the first division is 1. You bring down a 0, making it 10. Dividing 10 by 3 gives you 3 with a remainder of 1 again. This process continues, and you keep getting the same digit, 3, repeating. Now, terminating decimals can be thought of as a special case of repeating decimals. For example, 0.25 can also be written as 0.25000, where the zeros repeat infinitely. To give you more examples, consider 2/7, which equals 0.28571 for 2 repeating. Each of these digits forms a cycle that continues indefinitely. Interestingly, every repeating decimal corresponds to a rational number. You can convert a repeating decimal back into a fraction by setting up an equation and solving for the fraction. This shows the strong connection between rational numbers and their decimal forms. Understanding why decimals repeat is important in algebra and number systems. It helps you grasp how division works and prepares you for more complex topics involving fractions and ratios. Recognizing these patterns in numbers makes learning algebra much more approachable. So, the next time you see a repeating decimal, remember that it's all about the limited remainders in division. This unique property of rational numbers is what makes mathematics both interesting and fun.